Grace and peace be with you. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the pastor at Sycamore Creek in Potterville. I have a brief thought for you today. It comes to us from Galatians 2, verses 11 through 14. I've been working my way through Galatians in my devotions and sharing brief thoughts as I read through there. And in this section of Galatians, Paul is writing about a disagreement with Peter. Peter, the famous apostle. And I don't think that Paul writes about this disagreement with Peter to put Peter down or to get in a last word or anything like that. It's here to establish, as Paul did earlier in the first chapter of his letter, that Paul is an independent apostle and he's operating with God's authority, that Paul is claiming God's authority to speak truth to the Galatians. Now, Paul doesn't really need the approval of Peter, but Paul does desire that he and Peter would work well together and that they would correct one another. Paul is putting himself in this letter as an equal to Peter, who they're able to work together and correct each other. Now, what had happened is that Peter had started to withdraw from eating with Gentiles, and that caused a number of problems. So the Jews and Gentiles didn't mix. Peter is siding with the Judaizers, the Jews who are withdrawing from interacting with Gentiles. And there's a couple problems with that. At first, it seems that Peter made this choice out of fear. And I'll tell you, when you're making choices out of fear, those are usually not a good motive for making a choice. Peter's actions had also caused others to follow his lead, and it led them toward hypocrisy. Just still today, none of us like a hypocrite. And that's where our beliefs don't match our actions. And Peter's beliefs in this matter were not matching his actions. A final thing about this is that the separation of Jews and Gentiles was a big deal because eating together was a part of the common meal. And one of the ways to think of communion, of the common meal today, is communion. And this means that with Jews and Gentiles separated, that worship was divided. And worship divided, again, that's a big deal. It's not good. So Paul corrects Peter, and I'll explain that more tomorrow. But here's some final questions for you today. Who is it that corrects you as you follow Jesus? Who's correcting you? Who examines your motives, looks at whether maybe you're acting out of fear, and helps correct you and move you away from hypocrisy? Remember, Paul is doing an incredibly helpful thing here for Peter, and we need that too. May God's grace and peace be with you.